Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Tamaska, and I'm here to talk about confidence and college age performers. So let's get started. On the agenda today, we're going to be talking about confidence, and we're going to talk a bit about self esteem and also self efficacy. We're going to talk about confidence and how it relates to success. And we're also going to talk about how to build confidence and self esteem. So, of course, as usual, I started off with definitions. So, I put down here confidence, self esteem, and self efficacy. Confidence is a feeling of self assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. To me, that means if I'm going to do a particular activity or I have a goal set in mind, I am assured that I will be able to accomplish that activity and achieve it at my desired result. Self esteem is confidence in one's own worth and abilities, self respect. And the word worth here means a lot because when we have self esteem, we have self worth and we value ourselves, and therefore we're saying that we deserve this or that. We are worthy of this or that in our lives. So it's different than self confidence. And self efficacy, and I'm going to touch on this only because I had spoke about self efficacy in last week's or 2 weeks ago lecture. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and self efficacy is confidence in one's own ability to achieve an intended result. So, very similar to confidence, and it kind of touches in self esteem too. So, there you have it. It's when we get to that top of that hierarchy of needs and the self efficacy, it sort of encompasses all of these positive attitudes about self and feelings about self and what we're able to achieve in this life. So let's get moving on. The interesting thing is high confidence does not necessarily equal high self-esteem, and high self-esteem does not necessarily equal high confidence. So the two can't be interchanged. For example, you could have someone who has very high self confidence when they walk onto the football field. They're absolutely confident that I'm going to make that touchdown, or I have the ability to make that pass, whatever it is. Yet when they walk outside into their everyday life, say they struggle with having self esteem in their personal relationship with their boyfriend or girlfriend, and they allow themselves to be treated in a certain way that's not acceptable, right? So that would mean that they have a lower self esteem or lower self worth to be put in that situation, and you see this, quite often. It's not a rare circumstance. So that's just one example of how high confidence or self esteem and confidence are not necessarily interchangeable phrases, but they certainly do complement one another. So I wanted to ask you guys, is confidence necessary to be successful? Before we start talking about confidence and success, do you think it's necessary in order to be successful to have a high confidence? Anyone? Okay, because I don't think it's necessary, and we'll talk about more about that in a little bit. I also want to ask you, what makes you feel confident? What are the things, and you don't have to say it out loud, but think about the things that make you feel confident about yourself. And I'll just give a few examples, because confidence to me is it's it's more of an external thing, if that makes any sense. So, if I wear a certain thing, that makes me feel confident. Or if other people give me praise regarding, my abilities on the court or my abilities in my piano performance, you know, that makes me feel confident that, yes, I have that external validation, and then I feel confident. And the third question I have here is confidence more or less important than self-esteem? And everyone has a different opinion on that. And I'll leave that to you to decide for yourself. Personally, I think both are important, obviously, but I think it's important to have a self-esteem or self-worth at the end of the day, because that can branch off into self-efficacy, and it's very much an internal validation, where you're validating yourself with people who have self-worth and self-esteem, and I think that's extremely important. Okay, so moving on, and this is touching back on my first question, which was regarding confidence and success. So the question is, does high confidence or having confidence lead to success? Which came first, the chicken or egg? Or does being successful lead to confidence? Now, I have yet to meet very many people who are just naturally confident individuals. For most people, it's developed, but there are those people out there who are born confident. They're just born that way. They're just confident, and these people become successful, right? But every person is different and every person is unique, so we can't look at it all the same. For a lot of people, hey, maybe we're not that confident. I'm one of those people. I'm not naturally a confident person. So for me, I have to do and take certain actions in order to build my confidence. I have to become successful at something and achieve something, and that helps to build my confidence. So I'm the person who is has an absence of confidence. And then what I do is I sit there and I go, okay, I just, despite what I think and what I feel about myself, I'm going to create a game plan and I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to do it and, you know, and hopefully become successful at it. And then I become confident. And so, for example, if you say, okay, I'm going to learn this concerto on the piano. Okay, I know, Rachmaninoff, I'm not really at that level yet, but I'm going to sit here and then I'm going to practice it and I'm going to do what I can, and I'm going to practice until, do whatever I need to in order to complete this piece, and then I will complete it and become successful at it, and now I feel more confident because I was able to do that. And so I put this little quote here at the bottom, and it says, "Success breeds confidence." And that's from Beryl Markham. And I thought that was a really, well, it was exactly the whole entire point of this slide, which is a lot of times we have to, use our courage in order to facilitate confidence, and just go through the motions and fake it till we make it sometimes even. So, okay. So, steps to building confidence, and then it's not necessarily steps, or just things that you can do to help build your confidence. I put down here setting goals and achieving them. And how many of you here have set goals so far in certain areas of your life and been able to achieve them? Okay, great. So, and now how many of you in here also have set goals, really not been sure about how you feel about it, or been a little bit scared or nervous, and despite that feeling, you went for it anyways and had a positive result? See, okay, so there's people in there like that, and sometimes we're not always going to get the best result either, but that will build confidence over that time, is having that fortitude to continue to push through until you get that success. That is the greatest feeling, and that builds confidence. Also, simple things like exercising and dressing, in a certain way, or dressing to where you feel good about yourself help to build confidence. And I love cognitive behavioral therapy and neuro linguistic programming. That's the NLP. It's basically what we're thinking in our train of thought and how we're thinking about ourselves and about the situation and about the people around us that shape our perception, that shape our reality. So making sure that these thought processes are in line with what we want to achieve. An example of that would be if I want to achieve, let's say I want to be on the starting string of the team next year. I know, for me, I was a volleyball player, so I want to be a starter on the team for next year on the starting string. So I'm going to make sure that whatever it is that I need to do in order to keep my positive state of mind, that yes, I will make it on the team. My teammates and my coaches have my support, and it's typically someone like a coach will be able to help you with these thought processes. And if you, a place where NLP would come into play is instead of when you shank a ball or when you make a mistake, finding a different way to think about those situations. It's not a shank anymore. That was a learning experience, and to grow and build off of that. So turning what we perceive to be as negative situations into a positive situation and a learning experience can really help to build your confidence as well. Okay, so the next one is building self-esteem. When you build self-esteem, and this actually, a lot of these are interchangeable with building confidence, but self-esteem is built through achieving esteemable acts. And what does that mean exactly? Well, esteemable acts can be a number of different things. Esteemable acts can be treating ourselves in a certain way that is positive and good for us. Esteemable acts can be something that is positive for other people, being of service and of help to other people. Those are esteemable acts. By accomplishing something for your team, maybe that's outside of the field, doing something that's being supportive of your friends, or your teammates. That's an esteemable act. Okay, the next one I have CBT and NLP on here as well. And once again, this positive self-talk and affirmations can really help to build self-esteem. But like I said from the beginning, it's doing these certain actions, these esteemable acts that are treating yourself well, that build self-esteem. Another example of that could actually be if you're taking it into your personal life. Let's go back to the boyfriend or girlfriend situation. You know that your boyfriend or girlfriend is not treating you well. An esteemable act would be to stand your ground and set your boundaries in that particular relationship. And if they continue to cross those boundaries, an esteemable act would be to separate yourself from the relationship, because that's not in your best interest, and that's not gonna help build your self-worth. In fact, it depletes your self-worth. Okay, next slide. So let's recap this. So first we talked about confidence and self-esteem and how that relates to self-efficacy. And then we talked a little bit about confidence and success, that you don't necessarily have to be confident in order to be successful. And a lot of times becoming successful at something will actually help to build that confidence. Then we talked a little bit how to build self-confidence and self-esteem. And some of those ways are to do esteemable acts, to practice NLP, and some of these cognitive behavioral techniques. And also we talked about how this ties in with self-efficacy. Okay, thanks a lot, and I will see you next